Hello, everybody. Dutch here from Build Gamebox. I'm going to be taking you through our first part of the currency tutorial in GDevelop today. So we are going to start by creating a new game in GDevelop. We will use an empty project. We use the desktop and mobile landscape setting, and we are going to name our project BGB Currency Tutorial. Now we're going to store this on our computer locally. And then we're going to choose our folder where we want to store that on our local computer. So for me, I'm going to call that new folder bgb-currency-tutorial. Spelled it a little, tutorial. So once we have all that set up and in place, we're going to click the Create New Game button, and this is going to generate us a new scene within the game for our currency tutorial. So now that we have the untitled scene open, we are going to come down in here and we're going to start building our interface. We will add a new object. And the first thing we're going to want to add is a text object. We're going to name this one our inventory header. Oh, we don't want a space in there, so do it like that. We're going to change the initial text here to inventory. And this is going to be above all of our inventory to show where it is on the screen. We're going to make it nice and big at size 50. We're going to change the color to something a little different. So we're going to choose this goldish brown color. So when we're done there, we're going to hit apply. We'll drag that on and put that onto our scene. Now we're going to start building the other text objects that are going to live on the screen for our inventory in our shop. So the next one we're going to come in here and do is going to be for the amount of gold we have. So we're going to call this the total gold label, and this will be the label that indicates how much gold we have. So it's going to be gold with a colon. Again, we're going to want to make this a little bit bigger because 20 is rather small. We'll make it 60. And also we're going to want to make a different color so it can be noticeable on the screen. We'll choose this kind of goldish color, and then we'll drag that on the screen below the inventory. For now, we're just going to kind of place them on there, and we'll come back in a little bit and we'll change the X and Y values there so that everything lines up and looks a little better. So next thing we'll do is we're going to add another text object. This one is going to be called total gold text, and this is going to contain the actual amount of gold we have. So we'll have the initial text be 00. It's going to be the same size as the label. And then we'll hit apply to get that. And then we're going to drag that back out. And that's going to live just to the right of our gold label. And as we flush this out, that is going to contain the exact amount of gold that we have in our inventory. So now we want to build a few more things into the UI. So we're going to start with the labels for the items that we can put in our inventory. So this is going to be the potion label. And so again, we'll do a potion and a colon. We're going to want to make this slightly larger, but not as big as everything else. So we'll choose 30. We can leave that at black. We'll apply it, and then we can put it out. Now there's going to be 2 more items for the inventory. So we'll duplicate that label. The other 2 items are going to be a hat. So we'll change that to hat label. And then we can duplicate it again for our 3rd item, which is going to be bread. So that will be bread label. Now we're going to open up both the hat and the bread, and we're going to change the initial text to indicate that this is our hat. Hit apply. And then for bread, we will do the same and update potion to bread. Now we have the labels for the items in our inventory. We can drag all of that out onto our scene. And again, we'll line all of that up in a little bit. For now, just getting it into the UI is good. So now we want to create the next text objects that are going to hold the number of potions, number of bread, and number of hats that are present in our inventory. So we'll set the initial text on the num potions to 0. We'll keep the size the same at 30. Hit apply. And that's going to live there. And then we're going to duplicate this twice again, just like we did with the labels. And we'll rename these to num hat and num bread. So these text objects are going to contain the actual number of hats, bread, and potions that exist in our inventory. We'll be using events later to update all of these. But as you can see, it's all very oddly spaced. So what we can do here is we can click on each one and we can change the X and Y value to make it so that they're all very nicely spaced and in line on the scene. So what I'm doing here is just moving everything over so that it's all aligned and everything looks good, giving them a little bit of space in between. Now, this is something that is important so that things don't run over the top of each other, and also makes it easier to read for the user when they come in. So you want to make sure there's consistency in how you lay all this stuff out on the scene. Now we want to make sure that our num potions, num hat, and num bread all are sitting just to the right of the labels. So we are going to change those X and Y values as well, just to get them all lining up perfect. Now we have all those lined up. We're going to want to get the gold and the inventory header labels lined up in the same row. There we go. And now we're going to move the total gold text. Going to make sure that that looks good on screen. Nice round number there. And now we have our inventory. It's a very basic inventory, but that's going to be able to keep track of all of the gold and items in our inventory as we buy them. So now we're going to add a shop so that we can buy some items and put them in our inventory and spend our gold. So the first thing we're going to want to do is create another text object that is the label, or the store header label in this case. This is going to be the text that exists over the top of the store, similar to our inventory label. We want to make that a bit bigger. And for the initial text to display, we will call it the ye olde shop. Now we're going to drag that onto the scene over to the right-hand side. Put that somewhere nice. And now we're going to create a couple of buttons that we can use to purchase the items within the store. So we're going to scroll down here. We're going to find the panel sprite button. We are going to select one of the buttons that comes with GDevelop here. I like the white square one. It'll import it into our game. We're going to open that up. We'll change the object name to our buy potion button. Oh, another space. And now we're going to come back and change the initial text to display. So here, we're going to say potion 50 gold. So this contains not only the item name, but the cost. Now we have to create those same buttons for the bread and the hat. So this one will be the buy bread button. We'll come back in and we're going to change the initial text to bread. And we will set the cost of that to 25 gold. Hit apply. And now we'll make our third button for buying the hat. So buy hat button. We'll open up that, and then we'll change the initial text there as well. So we'll have it be hat, and we will change the cost from 25 gold to 150 gold. Now, again, this is just in the text label. We will be adding the logic within the event sheet that actually charges those amounts of money. So this is simply for the display. So now we have all of the buttons dragged out to the shop, and the UI for the shop is complete. Now here, we're going to want to add a method for us to earn some money. So we're going to create a work the mines button. So we're going to pick this giant button here, and then we're going to rename this to work mines button. And then for the initial text, we will have it say work the mines plus 50 gold. So every time we work the mines, we will be earning another 50 gold. So now we have that work mines button built. We're going to drag it onto the scene around the bottom. And the idea here is that every time you click the work mines button, we'll get another 50 gold that we can shop in the store. Well, that's it for part 1 of the currency tutorial. I thank you for listening to the end.